Here we are in the salt marsh, and we're looking at two of the common plants that grow in the marsh. And the reason that they can grow is because they can handle the salt, and I'll talk about that in a second. Salt marsh is one of the most productive ecosystems in the world for the amount of grasses it produces. But it's not very diverse in terms of the number of species because, again, not many species can handle the salt. So the two things we're looking at here are two species of Spartina. There's this low, smaller one, which is, we call it salt hay. And in colonial times, it was collected as food for the livestock. Dried out on these staddles and fed to the livestock. And then, so that's Spartina patens, or salt hay. And then we have this other species of Spartina, which we call cordgrass, which is taller, and it will grow, one variety grows up here in the high marsh, and then it doesn't grow again until the low marsh. Whereas you can see the salt hay grows throughout the marsh. And what's really interesting about these plants is that they have the ability to excrete salt. You might see some crystals of salt, which actually came up through the plant, and the plant has special adaptations to be able to push that salt out so it can survive in the marsh. And we're looking at this red plant here that's growing in the marsh. It's known as glasswort. The reason it's called glasswort, it was used to make glass in the 16th century. The ashes were used to make glass. It's a succulent that's very tolerant of high salt levels, as you can imagine in the salt marsh. And in the fall, it turns this beautiful red color. And another name for it is sea pickle, or picklewort, because it's edible. Generally, it's eaten in the spring when it's green, but I'm gonna have a little nibble of it. See how it's tasting today. It's got a very nice crunchy texture because it's a succulent. Salty and delicious. So that's glasswort. Okay, here we are in the high marsh, the high salt marsh, and we have some of this beautiful sea lavender growing. Now, one thing about the sea lavender is that people do like to collect it, but that has become a problem with over collecting, and now it's becoming more and more rare. So if you find some sea lavender, enjoy it where you see it, but please don't pick it.